Okay, in this lesson we are looking at different voting and selection methods. So we're going to take a look at number 2 right here. It's got a few problems below that we're going to have a chance to answer. If we read up top, it says 4 candidates are running for the mayor of Smallville. List out those 4 candidates, and it says that we're asked to rank these candidates in order of preference. And here's your preference charts below. So this could be a little confusing the way that this chart is presented. Basically, what's going on, let's take this first one by example. So in this in this town, they had everyone rank the candidates from their first choice down to their 4th choice. So what's it's saying in this first column is that 130 people sent in ballots of this choice of having Lon as their first choice, Martha as their second choice, Clark as their 3rd choice, and Jonathan as the 4th choice. That second column saying 120 people voted in that preference, and so on. So it's a little confusing just if you don't know the context of it, but that's what's going on in this chart. So what I want you to do is answer these questions right here. They shouldn't take too long to do. Just read our chart, and we should be able to get those answers there. So go ahead and pause, try those, and then I'll have those answers when you unpause the video. Okay, so quickly going over these, how many people voted in the election. We just need to add those numbers up top. When we do that, we get 500. How many people selected the candidates in this order? So if you look at this arrow that I have here, that has that same order, so that's 100 people voted there. How many people voted Jonathan as their first choice? So there's 2 J's there, so we just add those 2 numbers up. And then lastly, D asks why is M not located in the first choice row? And as we can conclude, no one voted Martha as their first choice. So what we're going to look at next is the first type of voting method. And that first choice of first voting method is called the polarity method. So it's the candidate with the most first place votes wins. This is called the popular vote. So using our preference table, do we have a winner based off this selection? We would have Jonathan win because he had the most first place votes. So most first place votes. So Jonathan had 220, and I think Clark came in second with 150, and then Lana came in with 130. So based off of that, Jonathan had the most. Number 4 asks a good question though. It says, if the election required a majority of the vote, would candidate to still win? So it's asking, would Jonathan win if we had to go with majority? So I want you to try this one on your own. Again, pause the video. When you unpause it, I'll have the answer there for you. So go ahead and pause the video and try this one. So you should have got no for that answer. Jonathan doesn't have enough. He's about 30 votes short. There's 500 people in the election. 250 would be majority. He doesn't have that. Like I said, he's 30 short, so he has 44. So what we're going to look at, we just talked about polarity method, which is the popular vote. We're going to look at the second method, which is polarity with elimination. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is the polarity with elimination. So if you go through and read that paragraph, basically what it states is that the candidate with the least number of first place votes is eliminated, and then all of the preference votes are adjusted accordingly with the eliminated candidate. So we repeat this until we have someone that has majority. So with all of these, questions are going to come from that. So the first one asks which candidate would be eliminated from question 1. So it's actually going to be question 2. So in the scenario that we have, what candidate would be eliminated? So we need to look to see who has the least amount of first place votes. This could be a little deceiving because if we look at just that top row, it looks like Lana has the least with 130. But in fact, there's, remember, a candidate with no votes, and that was Martha. So Martha is eliminated because she had 0 first place votes. So Martha's gone, so now we need to adjust our table. So it wants us to rewrite it without that candidate. So all we have to do is eliminate Martha, and if you notice, she was voted second by everyone. So it's basically like she was never in the election. So we need to replace her in this election, and shift all those votes below her up. So it's going to look like L, J, and C. So nothing's going to change up top. But now everything else will get shifted up, so we're going to get CJ there, CL, LC, and then LJ. So because nothing changed with the first place votes, we don't have a new winner, so no winner. So we need to eliminate someone else. So we need to eliminate the next person with the least amount of first place votes, and that is going to be Lana. She's eliminated with the least amount of first place votes. So we're going to continue this process till we come up with an answer or a winner. So I want you to finish the rest of this out. So Lana's eliminated. So eliminate her from the tables and then go from there until we come up with a winner. Okay, so if we keep doing that, we're going to see that Clark and Jonathan are the only two that are left. Clark moves up to take this many votes, and then Jonathan stays at his 220. So people either voted for him to be first or last. So because of that, Clark has the most first place votes. So therefore, Clark is declared our answer. So we got one more voting method that we are going to look at, and that is the board account method. So if we read what it says, basically what happens here is that if you're voted last, you get 1 point. Second to last gets 2. Third to last gets 3, and so on. So we figure out how many people are running, and then it's basically an inverted point system. So hypothetically, let's say 15 people are running for an election. Candidates rank them, or the people rank them 1 through 15. They invert it. So if you come first, you get 15 points. Second place gets 14, and so all the way down to last place getting 1. So it wants us to do that for our Smallville election. So there's only 4 candidates. So if you come first, you're going to get 4 points. Second gets 3. Third gets 2. And then, of course, last place will get 1. So we need to do that with all of our candidates. So Clark, Martha, Jonathan, and Lana. So I want you to go and do this one on your own as well. So if they come in first place, how many first place they got? We're going to multiply that times 4. If they got second place, we're going to multiply that times 3. Third place times 2. And then last place times 1. So go ahead and try that out and get all your answers or get your totals for each of those candidates. So if we go and do the board account across, this is the totals that we'll get for each of our candidates. So as you see, Martha, she only had those third place votes, so 500 goes there, nothing there. And then if we look at someone like Jonathan, he had 4 for his 250, some zeros, and then his last place. But if we look at our totals here, we're going to see that we have an obvious winner, and that's going to be Martha. So all those second place votes work out in the board account method. She has the most points, so she ends up winning this election using this method. So there's 3 methods that we looked at: polarity, which is your popular vote; polarity with elimination, which is trying to get majority and eliminating the candidate with the least amount of first place votes; and then we have the board account right here in this one that we just worked. So that's going to wrap up our voting lesson. So those are the 3 to keep in mind, and then just looking at whatever graph or chart's given to us to figure out what our total is going to be.